For years, the Texas narrative was simple, seductive, and seemingly unbreakable. A land of limitless potential, guaranteed prosperity, and the unfettered pursuit of the American dream, all set against a backdrop of sprawling suburban landscapes, colossal new homes, minimal regulations, and perpetually booming job markets. It was a siren song that drew dreamers and doers from across the nation. But as we move into 2025, that carefully constructed image has not just cracked, it has shattered into 1,000 pieces. The very migration wave that once fueled Texas's meteoric rise has now crested, decisively overshooting the economic and infrastructural realities on the ground. The formerly invincible Texas housing market, once the envy of the nation, is now displaying the first, undeniable, and deeply unsettling signs of a widespread collapse. The warning signs aren't fleeting or cyclical blips on the radar. They are systemic, deeply rooted, and impossible to ignore. Mortgage rates, defying expectations, remain stubbornly high, effectively pricing out a generation of potential home buyers. Insurance premiums, driven sky-high by the escalating risks of climate change and increasingly frequent extreme weather events, have exploded, adding crippling costs to homeownership. And most damningly of all, housing inventory has doubled and, in some key areas, even tripled, creating a glut of unsold homes that are rapidly losing value. Reliable market data paints a grim picture. Over 40% of Texas suburbs have experienced measurable home price declines since the middle of 2024. Days on market are climbing relentlessly, stretching from weeks to months, and sellers, facing the harsh realities of a cooling market, are cutting prices at a rate unseen since the dark days of the 2008 financial crisis. The fatal flaw on the Texas dream was overconfidence, a belief that growth would continue unabated, forever insulated from the economic forces that buffet other markets. Developers, blinded by this optimism, built for a future of endless, insatiable demand, constructing sprawling subdivisions and luxury homes with reckless abandon. But that demand, priced out by high rates, crippling insurance costs, and an uncertain economic outlook, has evaporated. Buyers are cautious, adopting a wait-and-see approach. Cash flush investors are fleeing for more stable pastures, and what was once celebrated as the Texas housing miracle now looks, with increasing clarity, like the next housing correction in motion, a disaster waiting to unfold. 500-word manifesto is a countdown of the top 10 Texas suburbs, teetering on the precipice of a housing collapse in 2025. The places where booming growth has metastasized into a dangerous and unsustainable oversupply, and where the inevitable fall will be steeper and more devastating than local communities are prepared to accept. In Texas, the story was always defined by size, ambition, and the relentless pursuit of more. Now, it is being rewritten by the fundamental, uncompromising law of gravity, a force that respects no boom and spares no bust. The suburbs surrounding Austin, the vibrant heart of Texas's tech boom, were the primary beneficiaries of the mass migration, eagerly capitalizing on the perceived affordability arbitrage compared to the exorbitant costs of living in coastal cities like San Francisco and New York. But now, as the tech economy cools, layoffs ripple through the industry, and high interest rates obliterate the financial value proposition that once made these suburbs so attractive. These areas are experiencing the most painful and dramatic unwinding. The unbridled confidence that drove their explosive growth has been replaced by a pervasive, uneasy calm, a sense that the party is well and truly over. 1. Round Rock, the shattering of the stability mirage. Round Rock, once hailed as Austin's crown jewel of stability, a haven of family-friendly living, and the perfect middle ground between affordability and opportunity, has seen its carefully crafted balance utterly shattered. After years of record migration and speculative building, fueled by seemingly endless demand, its housing market has slammed headfirst into a hard wall. Home prices have fallen a significant 9% since last summer, according to Redfin, a leading real estate brokerage, while active listings have surged nearly 70%, creating a buyer's market of unprecedented proportions. Builders are frantically slashing incentives, offering everything from upgraded appliances to free landscaping, in a desperate effort to unload their toxic inventory of unsold homes, while buyers, burned by past overvaluation and wary of future price declines, sit cautiously on the sidelines, unwilling to jump into a market they perceive as fundamentally unstable. The central issue plaguing Round Rock is the collapse of true affordability. A home that cost $1,900 a month in 2021 now runs closer to $3,500, a staggering increase driven entirely by higher property taxes, steeply rising insurance premiums thanks to increasingly frequent and severe weather events, and escalating utility costs. Even well-paid tech professionals, many of whom moved from California or Washington for the promise of affordable living and a better quality of life, are discovering, to their dismay, that Round Rock's crucial financial advantage has entirely vanished, leaving them struggling to make ends meet. The ripple effect of this affordability crisis is widespread and deeply concerning. Restaurants and small businesses are slowing down, construction crews are downsizing, laying off workers, and retail plazas that couldn't open fast enough just a few years ago now sit half empty. A stark reminder of the boom that has gone bust. Round Rock was built on optimism, on the belief that growth would continue forever. But in 2025, even optimism carries a crippling price tag, confirming that the suburb that once defined Texas growth is now defining its inevitable reckoning. 2. Leander, the financial quagmire of overconfidence. Leander was the poster child of Texas's pandemic boom, a shining example of the explosive growth that gripped the state. Home prices exploded by more than 60% between 2020 and 2023, fueled by an influx of tech wealth, the allure of lucrative stock options, and an absolute conviction that Central Texas would never slow down. By 2025, however, the narrative has flipped dramatically, transforming into a severe financial trap for homeowners and investors alike. Inventory has more than doubled since last spring, creating a glut of unsold homes, and price-reduced banners flood online listings, a desperate attempt to attract buyers in a cooling market, confirming a median price drop of nearly 13% year-over-year. The structural problem is the collision of falling home values and rapidly rising non-mortgage costs. Property taxes in Williamson County have soared to exorbitant levels. HOA fees are relentlessly eating into household budgets, and insurance premiums have surged, driven by the increasing risks of wildfires and extreme weather. Families who bought at the peak of the market are now watching their home values sink, while their total monthly payments rise, a guaranteed path to financial distress and potential foreclosure. The dream of Austin living without Austin prices has become an insurmountable financial trap for many, a cruel irony for those who believed they were making a sound financial decision. The cranes that once symbolized relentless growth have gone still, standing as silent monuments to a boom that has passed, and the hum of construction has quieted to an uneasy calm, replaced by a sense of uncertainty and apprehension. Leander was built on confidence, on the unwavering belief in a bright future. But as 2025 unfolds, that confidence is rapidly fading, replaced by a deep and pervasive caution, a fear that the worst is yet to come. 3. Pflugerville, the punishing cost of unchecked growth. Pflugerville, nestled just north of Austin, was once a suburban success story, a shining example of how to manage growth and provide affordable housing. It quickly became the go-to refuge for tech workers escaping Austin's sky-high prices, offering a more affordable and family-friendly alternative to the bustling city. Between 2020 and 2022, developers couldn't build fast enough, leading to rapid, unmanaged expansion, with new subdivisions popping up seemingly overnight. In 2025, however, Pflugerville's growth story has aggressively reversed, transforming from a success story into a cautionary tale. Home prices are down 12% since 2024, and nearly half of all active listings have seen multiple price reductions, a clear indication of a struggling market. Days on market have doubled, stretching from weeks to months, and buyer demand has dropped to its lowest point in a decade, signaling a significant shift in the market dynamics. The reasons for this dramatic collapse are visible everywhere. Traffic congestion has worsened significantly, transforming once-easy commutes into frustrating daily ordeals. Property taxes have surged to punishing levels, placing an unbearable burden on homeowners, and insurance costs, particularly for newer developments located in flood-prone areas, are financially debilitating, threatening to bankrupt families. The remote workers who once fueled the boom, flocking to Pflugerville for its affordability and proximity to Austin, are quietly leaving, drawn back to corporate offices or cheaper states entirely, further exacerbating the housing crisis. The rapid infrastructure projects haven't kept pace with the explosive expansion. Schools are overcrowded, forcing students into portable classrooms, and road projects are unfinished, creating bottlenecks and further contributing to the already unbearable traffic congestion. For every for sale sign that comes down, a glimmer of hope quickly extinguished. Another goes up to streets over, a constant reminder of the oversupply plaguing the market. Pflugerville, once Austin's affordable alternative, is now a stark warning, proof that unchecked growth, pursued without proper planning and infrastructure, can turn the promise of opportunity into the suffocating weight of massive oversupply and financial ruin. 4. Georgetown, the vanishing act of affordability. Georgetown, once the shining symbol of Central Texas charm, a picturesque town with a rich history and a strong sense of community, saw its population swell by nearly 14% between 2019 and 2022. Builders rushed in, eager to capitalize on the influx of new residents, transforming open fields into sprawling master-planned communities, promising a perfect blend of small-town living and modern amenities. In 2025, however, the mood has completely changed, replaced by a sense of unease and uncertainty. Inventory has nearly doubled, creating a glut of unsold homes, and home prices have slipped 10% year-over-year, a significant decline that is eroding homeowner equity. The once frenzied pace of sales has slowed to a painful crawl, leaving sellers struggling to find buyers in a cooling market. The market tension stems from a simple, undeniable fact: affordability has completely vanished, priced out by rising taxes and insurance costs. Rising property taxes, driven by soaring property values and mandatory insurance premiums, inflated by the increasing risk of extreme weather events, have driven total monthly housing costs sky high, making it increasingly difficult for families to afford to live in Georgetown. A mortgage that once cost $2,100 a month now exceeds $3,600, pushing many homeowners to the absolute financial edge, struggling to make ends meet and facing the looming threat of foreclosure. Even retirees, long a key demographic in Georgetown, drawn to its peaceful atmosphere and affordable living, are feeling the severe strain. Many bought second homes or investment properties, hoping to generate passive income, that are now worth less than they owe, trapped in a cycle of debt and financial uncertainty. With fixed incomes and escalating maintenance costs, they are quietly listing properties that once symbolized their retirement dreams, forced to downsize or relocate in order to survive. Georgetown's charm hasn't faded. Its historic downtown still boasts quaint shops and excellent restaurants, but its financial viability has, confirming that in a market built on migration and optimism, the loss of affordability is enough to trigger a rapid stagnation and potentially a devastating collapse. The DFW suburbs, known for their meticulously planned corporate campuses, upscale shopping centers, and lavish master-planned communities, are experiencing a downturn led by weakness in the high-end luxury market and rapidly rising property tax burdens that are crushing middle-class affordability, pushing families to the brink of financial ruin. The unwavering confidence that once defined this perennial powerhouse of the Texas economy is visibly deflating, replaced by a sense of apprehension and uncertainty. 5. Frisco, the crown jewel's slow exhale. Frisco defined suburban success for 2 decades, becoming a symbol of prosperity, growth, and the American dream. But by 2025, the shine has significantly dulled, tarnished by a cooling market and an oversupply of luxury homes. After peaking in late 2022, home prices have dropped nearly 11%, a significant decline that is eroding homeowner equity, while listings have tripled, creating a glut of unsold homes and a buyer's market of unprecedented proportions. The supply of multi-million-dollar homes now far outpaces the small pool of buyers willing or able to pay the exorbitant premium, leaving many luxury properties sitting vacant for months, gathering dust and losing value. The local fundamentals failed to keep pace with the rapid growth. Property taxes are punishingly high, placing an unbearable burden on homeowners. Insurance premiums have soared after a series of devastating hail and wind damage claims, and high financing costs have erased the profits of many investors who once rushed in from California and Arizona, eager to capitalize on Frisco's booming market. These flippers are now sitting on vacant, unsold homes, trapped in a cycle of debt and financial uncertainty. Frisco is not experiencing a sudden crash. It is slowly exhaling after a decade of severe overconfidence and unsustainable growth. The luxury market is cracking first, but critical affordability issues are creeping down the income ladder, threatening to engulf the entire housing market. If mortgage rates remain elevated and DFW job creation slows, Frisco's soft landing could easily escalate into a deeper and more devastating slide, potentially triggering a full-blown housing crisis. 6. McKinney, the crippling backlog and deflation. McKinney's success manual: great schools, strong infrastructure, and a booming job market is facing a harsh reality check. After years of explosive growth, fueled by a seemingly endless influx of new residents and businesses, McKinney's housing pipeline has turned into a crippling backlog, a vast sea of unsold homes that is threatening to drown the market. Active listings are up 90% year over year, while average days on market have more than doubled. Stretching from weeks to months, homes that once sold in a matter of days now linger on the market for months, unsold and unwanted. The local cost of living has outpaced the very salaries that drew people here, creating an affordability crisis that is pushing families to the brink. Property taxes in Collin County are among the highest in Texas, placing an unbearable burden on homeowners. Insurance rates have surged after a series of severe weather events, further exacerbating the affordability crisis. Many homeowners are dangerously stretched thin, especially those who bought with adjustable rate or low-down payment loans during the pandemic, leaving them vulnerable to even small increases in interest rates or property taxes. Developers are sitting on massive unsold inventory, facing the daunting prospect of having to slash prices or even abandon projects altogether, while landlords face rising vacancies as tenants downsize or relocate to more affordable areas. McKinney's housing market isn't collapsing in a dramatic fashion. It is carefully, unmistakably deflating, slowly losing air and threatening to crash to the ground. The same factors that fueled its rise, easy credit and rapid migration, are now amplifying its inevitable decline, creating a perfect storm of economic challenges. 7. Mansfield, the fractured equilibrium. Mansfield, the quiet achiever of North Texas, known for its balance of convenience and small-town charm, is seeing its delicate equilibrium completely fractured, threatening to unravel the very fabric of the community. Active listings in Mansfield are up 82% year over year, while pending sales have sharply plunged. indicating a significant decline in buyer demand. Developers are staring down streets of empty, unsold homes, a stark reminder of the overbuilding that has plagued the market. Mortgage payments that cost $2,200 in 2021 now top $3,800 once crushing taxes and insurance are factored in, making homeownership increasingly unaffordable for many families. The city's property values have climbed faster than wages, ensuring the affordability that drew families here has entirely vanished, replaced by a sense of financial anxiety. The construction boom created saturation instead of prosperity, transforming the landscape into a sea of unsold homes. Rows of luxury homes sit dark at night, vacant and unwanted, and for rent signs are multiplying in neighborhoods that used to sell instantly, a clear indication of the declining market. Mansfield's story is one of painful correction, a sobering reminder that even the most successful communities are not immune to the forces of economic gravity. The city grew on optimism, on the belief that growth would continue forever, but that optimism is fading, replaced by a sense of unease and uncertainty. And as the housing tide goes out across DFW, its once perfect equilibrium is revealing cracks it can no longer hide, cracks that threaten to undermine the very foundation of the community. The suburbs surrounding Houston, particularly to the west, are facing market distress amplified by two critical local factors: surging foreclosure filings due to rising costs, and crippling increases in flood insurance premiums that are devastating overall home affordability. The combination of these two forces is creating a perfect storm of economic challenges, threatening to plunge the Houston suburbs into a deep and prolonged housing crisis. 8. Katy, the foreclosure surge and brutal math. Katy, the model of master-planned suburban Houston success, a community known for its excellent schools, family-friendly atmosphere, and meticulously planned neighborhoods, is seeing its promise crack, undermined by rising costs, falling values, and a surge in foreclosure filings. Foreclosure filings in Harris County are up 28% year-over-year, with Katy leading the surge, a grim statistic that underscores the severity of the housing crisis in the area. Homeowners who once saw their properties as foolproof investments are now facing rapidly rising costs and falling values, trapped in a cycle of debt and financial uncertainty. The math is brutal and undeniable. An average new-build mortgage that cost $2,000 in 2021 now exceeds $3,400 due to soaring insurance premiums, high interest rates, and punishing property taxes, making homeownership increasingly unaffordable for many families. Many families who moved here for supposed affordability have discovered the reality is anything but, struggling to make ends meet and facing the looming threat of foreclosure. Builders are slashing prices to clear inventory, desperate to unload their unsold homes, and investors are quietly backing out, abandoning projects and leaving the market in disarray. Rental demand, which once provided a safety net for struggling homeowners, is shrinking as tenants downsize or leave entirely, unable to afford the rising rents. Katy's identity, once tied to success, is now confronting the harsh reality of overextension, a cautionary tale for other suburban communities across Texas. The Texas housing miracle has a breaking point, a limit to its seemingly endless growth. And in Katy, it is already here, threatening to plunge the community into a deep and prolonged housing crisis. 9. Conroe, inventory overhang and flood risk. Conroe, once Houston's northern escape, a refuge from the hustle and bustle of the city, is experiencing a market fatigue driven by a massive inventory overhang, a glut of unsold homes that is weighing heavily on the market. Inventory in Conroe is up 95% year-over-year, while sales have fallen by a third, indicating a significant decline in buyer demand. Builders are cutting prices by $30,000 or more, offering every incentive imaginable to clear their backlogs of unsold homes. But even these desperate measures are failing to attract buyers in a cooling market. Homeowners who bought near the peak of the market now face shrinking values and relentlessly rising costs, trapped in a cycle of debt and financial uncertainty. Crucially, flood insurance has doubled following consecutive storm seasons, a devastating blow to homeowners living in flood-prone areas, and standard homeowners policies are spiking as well, further exacerbating the affordability crisis. Property tax reassessments are piling on thousands more each year, adding to the financial burden of homeowners. Conroe's growth engine, cheap land and endless demand, has seized up, grinding the market to a halt. Supply now massively outweighs demand, creating a market imbalance that is proving difficult to overcome. And optimism has devolved into a pervasive overhang, a sense of unease and uncertainty that is weighing heavily on the community. Conroe's lesson is sobering. Every boomtown eventually reaches its limit, and in 2025, Conroe is confirming that point, serving as a cautionary tale for other rapidly growing communities across Texas. The wider correction, growth meets gravity. The final two suburbs represent the wider geographical scope of the Texas correction, confirming that the overextension is not limited to the immediate DFW or Austin orbits, but is a systemic statewide problem, a widespread housing crisis that is gripping communities across Texas. 10. New Braunfels, growth drowned by supply. New Braunfels, once Texas's perfect middle ground, where Austin's innovation met San Antonio's tradition, is now grappling with the consequences of its own success. Its desirability during the pandemic led to massive overbuilding, with developers rushing to capitalize on the influx of new residents. By 2025, the very growth that made the city famous has now drowned it in supply, creating a glut of unsold homes that is weighing heavily on the market. Inventory has more than doubled, and median home prices have fallen 14% since 2023, a significant decline that is eroding homeowner equity. Homes that once sparked bidding wars, attracting multiple offers and driving prices sky high, now sit for months without offers, gathering dust and losing value. Rising costs have pushed the market to its absolute breaking point, making homeownership increasingly unaffordable for many families. Property taxes are climbing, placing an unbearable burden on homeowners, and insurance rates are punishing after flood remapping, particularly for homes located in flood-prone areas. Hybrid workers, who moved here for flexibility and a better quality of life, are being called back to offices, leaving empty driveways and further exacerbating the housing crisis. The market is described by realtors as frozen. Sellers cling to yesterday's inflated prices, unwilling to accept the new realities of the market. Buyers wait for tomorrow's deals, hoping to capitalize on further price declines. And builders keep building because stopping would bankrupt them. Trapped in a cycle of debt and financial uncertainty, New Braunfels symbolizes the exact moment that unchecked growth meets the uncompromising force of gravity. A stark reminder that even the most successful communities are not immune to the forces of economic reality. It is extremely close to a full collapse, teetering on the precipice of a housing crisis that could devastate the community. The final two suburbs represent the wider geographical scope of the Texas correction, confirming that the overextension is not limited to the immediate DFW or Austin orbits, but is a systemic statewide problem, a widespread housing crisis that is gripping communities across Texas. 10. New Braunfels, growth drowned by supply. New Braunfels, once Texas's perfect middle ground, where Austin's innovation met San Antonio's tradition, is now grappling with the consequences of its own success. Its desirability during the pandemic led to massive overbuilding, with developers rushing to capitalize on the influx of new residents. By 2025, the very growth that made the city famous has now drowned it in supply, creating a glut of unsold homes that is weighing heavily on the market. Inventory has more than doubled, and median home prices have fallen 14% since 2023. A significant decline that is eroding homeowner equity. Homes that once sparked bidding wars, attracting multiple offers and driving prices sky high, now sit for months without offers, gathering dust and losing value. Rising costs have pushed the market to its absolute breaking point, making homeownership increasingly unaffordable for many families. Property taxes are climbing, placing an unbearable burden on homeowners, and insurance rates are punishing after flood remapping, particularly for homes located in flood-prone areas. Hybrid workers, who moved here for flexibility and a better quality of life, are being called back to offices, leaving empty driveways and further exacerbating the housing crisis. The market is described by realtors as frozen. Sellers cling to yesterday's inflated prices, unwilling to accept the new realities of the market. Buyers wait for tomorrow's deals, hoping to capitalize on further price declines. And builders keep building, because stopping would bankrupt them. Trapped in a cycle of debt and financial uncertainty, New Braunfels symbolizes the exact moment that unchecked growth meets the uncompromising force of gravity, a stark reminder that even the most successful communities are not immune to the forces of economic reality. It is extremely close to a full collapse, teetering on the precipice of a housing crisis that could devastate the community. The Texas suburban housing miracle is over, a relic of the past. After years of reckless expansion, fueled by unchecked optimism and easy credit, the market is finally undergoing its necessary, painful reckoning. A correction that is long overdue. The average price drops, the extreme inventory surges, and the systemic failure of affordability across these 10 major suburbs. From the massive 14% plunge in New Braunfels to the crippling cost burdens in Katy and Frisco, are creating a generational strategic opportunity for savvy investors and first-time homebuyers alike. The root cause of this crash is systemic: unchecked developer confidence, a reliance on cheap debt, and the inability of local governments to manage the external costs of property taxes and climate risk insurance. A failure of leadership that has left communities vulnerable to economic shocks. The convergence of 7% mortgage rates with soaring, non-negotiable monthly expenses has permanently destroyed the suburban affordability model, making it increasingly difficult for families to achieve the American dream of homeownership. The power has irrevocably shifted to the buyer, who now holds all the cards in a market saturated with panicked sellers, financially stretched homeowners facing arms, and builders desperate to liquidate toxic inventory. The time for hesitation is over. This is the moment to transition from aspiring homeowner to strategic owner, to seize the opportunity presented by this market correction. Target the steepest inventory spikes: Leander, Frisco, McKinney. Leverage the financial desperation of overextended sellers: Katy, Georgetown, and secure property at massive discounts, capitalizing on the market's distress. The Texas dream isn't gone, but it is evolving, adapting to the new realities of the market. Affordability is not guaranteed, and stability is not automatic. It requires careful planning, strategic thinking, and a willingness to take calculated risks. Seize the discount, own the leverage, reclaim the Texas dream.